Hey, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I've got a special young man, Cory Albert from Connecticut. Cory, how are you?
I'm good, Scotty. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Oh man, I couldn't I tell you, I feel like a woodpecker in a lumber yard. I'm so excited.
That's a good one right there. You need to
A,
keep that
a
one.
wood a woodpecker in a lumber yard. So Cory, let's start. You're in Connecticut. Were you born and raised in Connecticut?
I was born
Okay.
in Lebanon. It's a nice little tiny town of like 2,000 people and probably 1,000 cows.
Is oh, there's a million jokes there, Cory. You're not dating one of them, are you?
No, no, she broke up with me. So,
She broke up with you. You know, Cory, I'm in York, Pennsylvania, and I do a bit about that. And I'm being honest, I've done it, 100 times. I don't give a shit if you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, asexual, pansexual, whatever kind of fucking sexual you want to be. I come from York, Pennsylvania. Guy slept with a sheep. That's true. That's true. When I was a kid, the guy slept with a sheep at the York Fair. But okay, let's. I'm sorry, Cory. Right now, I'm not getting enough oxygen. Right now, I'm not getting enough oxygen for you. Okay, so you're born and raised in Connecticut, and when did you start doing comedy?
2018, I think. I think it was end of 2018.
So about 5 years, 6 years,
Yeah, five and a half, six, around there.
5.5, 6 years.
Kind of all run together.
Yeah, Cory, I don't know what fucking day it is. I know it ends in Y.
That's true.
Um, so tell me about what made you start doing comedy.
Um, so it was kind of like a dark time for like my life. Like I was going through like the hardest breakup and crazy girls after that.
I hear that. I
So
hear that a lot.
it
No, I
just
do.
seems to be that's what a lot of people get
Sure.
into it for. So like I always like was interested in it, like from the
Right.
Adam Sandler days and
Okay.
SNL, like all those guys.
Okay.
And I finally was just like, I literally have nothing else going on. So
Okay.
what happens if I fail? Like
Right.
I was already at the lowest point
Yep.
because I didn't like speaking in front of people. Like in college, public speaking was horrible. And I still get a little nervous sometimes, but it was like I have nothing to lose, so I'm just gonna go for it
Okay.
because I was literally watching like Anthony Jeselnik special and Jimmy Carr
Yep.
specials on like
Yep.
repeat. And I
Yep.
was like, there's not a lot of comics when you're like depressed that make you laugh. Like, cause you
Yep.
relate to like darker jokes when you're in, when you're depressed, you're
Yep.
not laughing at like the Kevin Hart jokes. You're
Yep.
laughing at the Anthony Jeselnik tragedy jokes. So like there's not a lot of people.
Jimmy Carr is really funny.
He's awesome.
Jimmy Carr is really sick. He's great.
He's one of my all-time tops.
Yeah, I love Jimmy Carr. I post a lot of his stuff on Reddit.
Nice.
Yeah, I do. I do because it's just he's great. And Anthony Jeselnik, great stuff too.
They're
But
so good.
so and I get it, in other words, 5 years and something dark took you there. And how was your first stand up, your first open mic or whatever that you did?
So I used to go to our Funny Bone. I guess it's like a chain. I didn't know it was a chain. I thought we were the only one with a Funny Bone. But
Okay.
I went to ours in Manchester, Connecticut, and everybody was doing, like normal jokes. And then I went up, and I was obviously nervous, so there
No, go
wasn't
ahead.
much
I
confidence.
want you to do your first joke.
My first joke. I actually still use my first joke. It was
Good.
it was the
I can't.
so Bill well it's a short one, but it's like our society is so crazy, and it's still crazy to me when you realize that Bill Cosby has more knockouts than Mike Tyson.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby who?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll come back when you're sleeping. There you go. There you go.
That was good.
I love Bill Cosby jokes.
Oh, they're the best.
That's the same as Bill Cosby and Santa Claus. They only come when you're sleeping. Now stop it. Stop it. Stop it, Cory.
Amazing.
Look, all right. So look, we got the fact the first show. What was because a lot of people I've done these a lot of these now. Some people tell me they pee their pants, they were sick, they're going to throw up. But the common denominator I hear is that right after it's over, they go, "When can I do it again?"
Yeah, 100%.
Is that the way it went?
Yeah.
And so, what happened on your first gig? Were you really nervous? Were you sick? Were you
I was just like really nervous.
right?
But like, and I bombed. Like, I still watched
Yeah, a
that
lot
first
of people
set to
say that.
laugh. But I literally, you can see some guy in the video just put like this, and so it did not go well.
Okay,
But I mean, it was fun, and
right.
I just wanted to get better and better and
Yeah.
just keep going.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Do you feel like it's getting better? 5 years in other words, like for me, I'm coming up 4.5 years. The longer I do this, the better I get. At least I think so.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like comfort level, like I've bombed like because I go to like open mics for music just to practice, and
Right.
they hate when you do that. So I just practice bombing because I know they're gonna hate me. So now when I go up there and I bomb, it means nothing. I'm just gonna keep going. I
I
had
love it.
one guy charged the stage at one of those a few months ago. I did a
Really?
joke that he didn't like, and he came right at me.
Well, what's funny about that, Cory, is I've talked to like ever since I opened this up and having people on, I've had people tell me that done it 14 years, and yeah, just the other night I bombed. That it doesn't matter if you've been doing it 10 years, 1 year, 6 months. There are good nights, there's bad nights. It's just like in life, where some days it's real good and other. It's not so good.
Yep.
But so 5 years in, you feel like it's getting better all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I still have like those nights where I'm like, I wish I did a little better, but
Right.
overall, I mean, the jokes that I stuck with, like, and I like, not perfected because there's no such thing, but gotten better, they're hitting a lot more than like even in front of like 70-year-old people, they're hitting. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I'm really surprised that joke hit here.
Well, I spoke to a young man, Colin Christopher, and he said he's been doing it like 7 years, and you use the word hit. He said his hit rate gets better. The longer he's been doing it, his hit rate gets better. And you said something about you never perfect a joke. I think that timing is something that's very important
Oh,
on each
definitely.
joke. Excuse me, on each joke. In other words, I have 5,000 plus jokes up on YouTube.
Damn.
I just put a joke reel together yesterday. And I'll pick through, I have 20 or 30 and I'm like, nah, it sucks. And I'll get them. And then I still cut down. I use Microsoft Clipchamp, and I cut, like that's too long. That pause is too long, or. So I think
Yeah.
that's really important.
Yeah. Once you get the timing down, I mean, like you could have an amazing joke, but if the timing's messed up, it's just not going to work. You need like the timing and the confidence behind the joke because they can tell when you're not confident in your joke.
Yeah,
They
right.
can read whether it's the energies, I don't know, whatever people believe in, but it's something because they can 100% tell you're not confident in that joke and
Yeah.
they're not laughing at it.
Once that goes too, then it starts going downhill quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to be confident through the, from I've done 105 live YouTube lives. And they're
Damn.
30 minutes, me without a net, me talking shit, trying to tell stories and jokes and of course I start drinking early, by the time the shit's over, I can barely remember what the hell I'm doing. But like you, I mean, 105 compared to my first one, I remember my first one. I'll never forget my first YouTube live where like I clicked live and I was like, okay, now what happens? And my buddy popped up in the chat. He's like, "You got this." I was like, "Hey, I'm Scotty T from your." I mean, 105 later, I pretty much got it down. I have a set list just like tonight. I wrote down stuff that I have about you because I feel like you have to be prepared a little bit.
Makes sense. I mean, I watched some of your lives or your clips that you've uploaded. They weren't live at the time, and the format is awesome. You have it nailed.
Well, do you take, because this is a question I ask comedians, when you go up, do you take like a little piece of paper or something, or do you take or do you just have it all in your head what you want to do?
I still do not. I bring my sheet up, my notebook, because
That's
I'm
fine.
pretty
That's
sure I
fine.
have like ADHD because my memory, I can remember my joke, but I can't remember the order of the
Right,
jokes. And
right.
if I just go up there and wing it, I freeze. You can say you can't hesitate. You know what I mean? You can't take that
No,
minute.
no, you'd be screwed. You'd be screwed. Well, let me ask you this. Over the course of 5 years now, are you playing better places? Well, I guess question number one, are you traveling more than outside of Connecticut?
Yeah, I just started doing shows in Rhode Island, and
Good.
I have one. Well, one's an open mic competition, and the other is an actual show in Ontario.
Ontario, Canada.
Yep, that's
That's
in May.
wonderful. Now, how far is that from where you're at?
I think I was 7.5 hours. I mean, I was
Okay.
already going to Niagara Falls for vacation, and I posted in a Facebook group,
Okay,
and
good.
then a guy that runs the comedy club was just like, "Hey, I got a spot for you if you want it." And
Good,
I
good.
was like,
That's
"Sweet."
fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, do you want to do a little bit? Do you want to give the folks a little taste of your comedy brilliance?
uh, how dark can it get?
Okay. All right. Now you see, you don't poke a bear. Okay. You know what? All right. You want to know how dark it can get, Cory? I'll start, and then we'll
All
go
right,
back and forth.
all right.
What's worse than going down on your grandmother?
What?
Banging your head on the lid of the casket when you're coming up.
My.
All right, your turn.
All
Your
right, that was fairly close to something I
Okay.
got.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So they always say an X is an X for a reason. I
Right.
never understood it until I recently hooked up with an X. It was so cold and it just felt so weird, but it made sense. It was her funeral after all.
Right. What's okay? I'm gonna keep going. What's black and blue and doesn't like to have sex?
I don't know.
And the woman locked in my basement. Chained
That
up
is
in my
good.
basement. All
That's a
right, your
really good
turn.
one.
Next. You're
All
next.
right. Oof. Um, when you're single and dating in your 30s, it's really hard. It's probably the hardest time in history. I say it's harder to date now than it was during the Holocaust. At least when you dated during the Holocaust, it was real easy to get a girl's number.
Why did the little girl drop her ice cream cone?
I don't know.
She got hit by a truck.
Oh,
Why did the little girl's ice cream cone melt?
I don't know.
She was on fire. All right, now
Nice,
your
nice.
your turn.
Oh man, you're gonna give away all my jokes.
No,
Let's see
no,
what I
no.
got
We
here.
can stop. We can stop.
I can get one more for you.
All
Hold
right,
on.
do one more, and then I want to talk about Rockstar Games.
Uh, did you have you ever fingered a chick and got like a weird it smells like your grandma, but then you realize that your sister's room is down the hall?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that we did. I made Mason Lecomte laugh the other night when I said that my brother threw something at the TV. He's watching one of my lives or something, and I said something about grandma's vagina, and that's when he lost it. He just threw something. He doesn't really talk to me too much anymore. But I would have. I don't think jokes about grandma's vagina is real good. For what it's worth.
Oh,
What
that's the money zone right there.
It's the money. It's the comedy gold. Yeah, you can joke about anything, but you have to be prepared for the ramifications.
Oh yeah,
In other
100%.
words, I'm sure you've played places, Cory, where you knew that Holocaust jokes, whatever, that's not going to fly.
Oh, I do it no matter what. I don't change my set. I've already been kicked out of 2 places, but I ain't changing my set. I would rather master one type than be mediocre in all.
Hey, kudos to you. No, I mean, you know what? I'll say this because you brought it up, and I think it's important not only to do these and have fun and this and that, but I've been blessed in my life. I met Lewis Black, I met Stephen Wright,
Oh, that,
I met Rodney Dangerfield. Um,
damn.
I had a conversation with George Carlin on the phone, um, and a comedian named Kathy Ladman. You probably don't know her. Kathy was on Tonight Show many times. She's been on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And Kathy and I had a conversation. Her mother had passed away, and we were, conversing on Twitter at the time. And she said to me, I sent her something, one of my videos, and she said, Scotty, just be true to who you are. And kudos to you. That's the way you have to be. If you're gonna Brad Goss, when we get done this, take a look at the interview with Brad Goss, because Brad does, stuff that's so dark and so, and
Yeah.
he actually was a real inspiration to me ever since I did that interview. That it's like, you know what? I don't care if my brother doesn't like me. I don't care if this one doesn't like me. Whoever, I'm just going to continue to do, grandma vagina jokes.
Yeah. I mean, you got in it for a reason. Like, I don't agree with kissing ass to be, a different version of you. Like Norm Macdonald, I think, was the one that used to say he does the same set. He doesn't care how it's going. He's not changing it for anyone.
I love Norm Macdonald. God rest his soul.
Me too. He was one of my
Yeah,
all-time favorites.
he was just brilliant. He was brilliant. I loved his stuff after when he had his own Norm Macdonald show. If you ever seen any of those, I
Yep.
think Letterman was on. He had they had like a soda machine or something. That was great stuff.
Him and David Spade. And, yep.
Yeah, David Spade. Yeah, I, and it's funny, honest, Cory, where, I've been doing this 4.5 years in comedy. Some people love. I'll do a real dark joke, and I'll get a handful of people, or X number of comments. Oh, I love dark humor. Do more of those. But in the meantime, my subscriber count just went down 100 because it's like, like you do a pedophile joke.
Shit, I just lost you subscribers.
Yeah, I do. I do a bit. I just did it the other day. I did a totally clean comedian, Tom Padovano, who sold this is, and I called him a comedy legend, and he's like, "What?" I said, "You're a comedy legend. You sold jokes to Joan Rivers. You sold jokes to Phyllis Diller. You sold jokes to Rodney Dangerfield." And I said to him, I said, I don't do, Holocaust jokes. I don't do rape, this kind of joke, that kind of joke. But I love a good rape joke. his face, his face was like, "Are you shitting me?" and just to be clear, I don't think I've ever done a rape joke. I don't know why. Maybe I just haven't found the right one.
That's the one that's hard. Like, I won't do that because the line is so thin. Like, I'll do jokes that are really thin lines, but that one's
Yeah.
extremely.
I honestly don't think out of 5,000 or something you'll find a rape joke.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you this: like you did a Holocaust joke. I don't do any kind of Jewish, Hitler, Nazi, Holocaust. I haven't done any of those. But yet, what's really weird is I did one of these the other day with a girl, and she started doing them, and she's Jewish, and it was like, okay, well, you can get away with it. You're Jewish,
Mhm.
but I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I
It's
have
like
a bit
doing
about me being
it's like
part
doing
Jew.
black humor, racist kind of humor, against black folks or Mexicans or whatever, you know.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that's
to me,
that's not. I don't.
or LGBTQRSTUVWYXY Z jokes, those, you know.
I have one of those, but it's pretty tame. I
Go
mean, if
ahead, go ahead.
people
Let
get
them
mad
have
at
it,
it,
unless
but
you
it's
don't want to do
tame.
it. Go ahead and do it.
It was just that I stayed up all night watching the Caitlyn Jenner biography, and it was crazy. Call me old school, but I think the first Transformers was a lot better. So
Right.
it's like real tame, but people get
Yeah,
so
no,
mad at
I
it
have one
sometimes,
something
and I'm
along.
like,
Um, what's a trans favorite kind of vehicle?
what?
A convertible. I used to, believe it or not, when I first
Good.
started this, I did a batch of them, but as time goes on, you kind of have to feel the room and know that no, they're not going to go for that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like doing RuPaul's drag queen show, you can't.
Yeah, like there's a few that I like. I won't do a 9/11 joke in New York. Like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna I'm
believe it
not
or
gonna
not,
do that.
that's another one. I don't think I've ever done a 9/11 joke.
I did because that was my ultimate goal, was to make a solid 9/11 joke.
You
That
want
was
go
my
ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. We're friends. Go ahead.
um so I still remember my first blowjob. And the only reason I remember it is because of the day. September 11th, 2001. Fifth grade, under the bleachers. I think this chick had that fixation on tragedy because she was twice as horny. She pushed my head down and said, "The towers aren't the only thing going down." And I still think that's the sexiest thing I've ever heard of. She was down there. I was down there so long, we already invaded Iraq. And then she went down. And I don't know how long we were there for, but school was out by like 3 hours. And I really miss that teacher, is what I'm getting at.
It's a great bit, man. That's a great bit. I mean, it's eh, again, there are people that'll say he's a sick asshole, but I love every part of it.
Well, the whole thing was to make it so it's not actually about 9/11. Like it
No,
just
no.
directs you to something totally different.
Well, I love comedians. When Tom and I were talking the other day about Stephen Wright, and Stephen Wright's humor is that kind of like what you did right there, where you stop and you think about it, and his are more one-liners, but I like comedians that make you think, for a second, and you go, wait, oh my God, oh, I get it.
Yeah, those are my favorite. They're so hard to write, but they're when they
Right.
work.
What are some more? If you have a couple more you want to run through.
Let's see. Well, this one depends on, because well, I'll just do it.
Just do
So
it.
I usually just talk about like relationships to the people in the crowd, whatever, and ask them if they ever
Yeah.
been ghosted. And then
Yeah.
tell them the first time I ever got ghosted was 2017. Me and this girl were talking for months and everything was going good. And then she went on vacation to Vegas and I never heard from her again. You go to one Jason Aldean concert. Sometimes people don't get it. And
No,
I'm like,
no,
really?
I,
What
I
were
I
you
get it. My
guys?
son lives in Vegas. And that's I love it. Go ahead. You got another one? I'm telling you, that's great stuff.
um,
That's funny. And again, I'll say this before we go on, Cory. I'm guilty of laughing at the wrong shit.
me too.
And it's been, I'm 61 years old. I'm not going to change it.
Yeah.
And here's the irony. Here's the real dang job on things. I have a premiere coming up at 7:30 with a man that calls himself the second cleanest comedian in Colorado.
Damn.
In other words, and that was all poly purebred stuff. There was no, I didn't swear, I didn't do it. And I actually started it because I thought it was funny. I said to him, who is the first cleanest comedian? Because I'm going to come there and I'm going to hold him down and make him fucking swear. So you can be the number one. He was like, I didn't say, but he got the idea of what I was talking about.
That's awesome. I don't know
No,
how people can stay so clean.
well,
I try to write clean and it ends up taking a dark twist and someone's dead.
Cory, though, going back to what Kathy Ladman taught me, you got to stay true to what you are. And Brad Goss taught me that. That's something I did. Brad was one of the first one of these I did, and he was talking about carving out his crowd. He has a certain crowd that likes what he does, and everyone else, go screw yourself. I'm going to do this kind of humor. And that's
Yeah, I
why
agree
that's why
100%.
that's why there's a Jerry Seinfeld. That's why there is a
I agree like 100%. Like these are the jokes like the people that have depression or they relate to these jokes. So
right,
they'll be the ones laughing. And if anybody needs a laugh more, I think it's those people. Some
yeah,
Karen can get mad, but she'll get over it.
right,
For
right,
them, you never know. Like I've had people after shows come up at Mohegan Sun. We do the Comics Roadhouse in there, and
right.
they've literally like been like, "Thank you for making me laugh today. I had a pretty shitty day," and they're
Yeah.
like, because they relate for whatever
Believe it
reason.
or not, that's funny you'd say that because I hear that a lot too. A lot of people, whenever it's a dark joke, I hear that a lot. Thank you so much. You made my day. I really needed it.
It's wild. Like it's just so crazy because like in your head, you're just like, I just told a joke, but in that person, you're just like they're
Yeah.
happy or whatever. They smiled, they laughed for the first time in the day. Who knows? You have no idea.
That's a great feeling too. That's a great feeling when you get that comment or someone comes up after the show and says, "Man, you really made my night."
Oh, 100%. Those are the people I want to talk to those people because like,
Right,
like you want to like do what you can because you don't know what they're going through. Like, like
right,
I've been in that shoes and like,
right.
it's not fun.
No, no, and I'm so happy for you, Cory, that things seem to be from when and again we just met, just for everyone tuning in. I've never met Cory before, other than about 25 minutes ago or so. And I like doing them this way because, I don't know what Cory's going to say. Cory doesn't know what I'm going to say. God knows we talk about my grandmother's vagina. He's talked about 9/11 and the Holocaust. But that's what, to me, comedy is. And there are people that are going to watch this and say, man, those two guys were funny as shit. And there are two other people, or however many other people that'll, oh my God, and immediately, hit escape. But that's okay. That's okay. Um, I want to talk real quick. We don't have a lot of time left, but you Rockstar Games and also Microsoft Expert.
Sort of. I
Well,
don't. I
no, I
don't.
mean, first off, I'm not a video game guy, okay? But Rockstar Games, I mean, that's
So it was I don't disclose my real job for the type of jokes that I do because you know how people are on the internet. They will try to get you fired. They'll email
I
your
can I can
boss.
I can edit this. I can edit this if you want me to.
No, no, no. You're good. I
It
did
doesn't it
like
doesn't matter to me. I didn't mean to bring it up. I
no.
write down stuff.
You're good. You're good. The Rockstar one was just like that's like a side job I was doing. There's like an app
Okay.
called Directly where you just answer people's tech questions. So I just put
Okay.
that on my profile because I'm like, go ahead, tell Rockstar Games. They don't actually know who I am.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, no, you're good.
No, okay. No, and I don't mean to bring stuff up. I just try to have as much information about each person I do because I think it's a matter of respect. And I've done, I'm a big Letterman fan. And I used to love when Dave had, I didn't like it when he had Cher or Madonna or some big star on. I loved when he had some lady from bumfuck Nebraska who
Yep.
made cookies or something. And that's where he was really comedy gold.
Yep.
And that's why, to me, I actually get a little nervous. Like I did one of these earlier today, and his comedian been around for 14, 15 years. And
Damn.
man, I kind of feel like I have to be, on point. I'm certainly not going to do jokes about my grandmother's vagina.
Those are always gold, man. You need
Yeah,
those in
but I
everything.
mean, with you, I knew from the get-go that you and I were kind of cut from the same mold or going after the same kind of crowd.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, Cory, listen, I want to make sure because we're going to run out of time.
Yeah,
I
no
want
worries.
to make sure that we cover everything, like you mentioned, Mohegan Sun. That's a good gig. Places that you're going to play or what you have coming up in the future. And then, of course, I want to move on to your comedy minutes. So just make sure we cover everything. Oh, I know. I meant to ask, are you on Instagram? We met on Facebook. Are you on Instagram, TikTok? Do you have a YouTube channel, any of that? Do you want me to put the links in?
Yeah, right now I use mostly Instagram and TikTok, or I'm starting to use it. It's just
Okay.
Cory, Cory, comedy, CT, one word.
I'll include the links.
Oh,
We'll get the links together. But I
cool,
just wanted
cool.
to make sure that we covered it. And let me ask you this. Are the clips on Instagram and TikTok of you on stage, or are they little videos or little things you put together?
TikTok, I think I only have like 2 or 3 clips up right now, but they're me on stage.
Okay.
Instagram is more of like I have this show coming up. Like I'll just post like the
Okay,
flyer,
promo, just a
you
promo
know,
thing.
pictures and
Okay.
flyers mostly.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I touched on that. Is there anything else we want to let the people know before we, get to your comedy minute? Because, I want to make sure that we cover everything on your behalf, that you use this opportunity to promote and tell people all about you.
Cool, man. Thanks. Yeah, for the Connecticut people, got Crossroads Tavern in Colchester, May 4th,
Okay.
8:30. Um, Hamilton, Ontario, I have the Comedy Underground, May 19th. Not sure the time of that starts. That one might be
Okay.
a big show with hopefully some more details coming out on my Instagram.
Okay. Great.
And Toyo Hibachi in Colchester, May 31st, with
Okay.
the best crew ever. Even the guy who got me my first gig, he is, I think he's on the show.
Go ahead and mention his name. Let's mention his name.
Uh, Jeff Wade, he
Jeff
comics
Wade.
Mohegan Sun, and
Okay.
he basically gave me my break. I mean,
Yeah.
we're doing Funny Bone and just open mics, and then I reached out to him, and he's gotten me in with like Peaches Rodriguez, Joe Hill, all these people, and
We'll
like,
mention Peaches and we'll mention Joe Hill, because I think it's important.
yeah, I mean, they're so great. Like Peaches was there my first show that I did, and
Good.
I was
Good.
having a panic attack in the back room, and she
Yeah.
talked me off a ledge.
Good.
Went
Good.
out and did pretty decent for back then.
I want to have Peaches on the show. Tell her I want to have her on the show. Okay.
I got you. She'll do it. I think she'll
No,
do
I
it.
would love to have her on. I want to have more female comedians.
She's
I really
awesome.
do.
She
No, I
is
mean,
amazing.
I'm being sincere because, I don't, in other words, I've done, right before I did this one, I'm doing Hispanic, I do Black, I do, I want to do everybody. I want to do women. I want to do, hey, daddy. I, I only, now stop it. No, but no, seriously, I want this to be, I mean, if you've seen it, I've done one with a guy with a duck.
That's awesome.
If you haven't seen it, I swear to God,
Oh,
after
I
this
gotta
is
find
over,
that.
go to my YouTube channel, go down to special guests. There's a playlist, and you'll find the guy with the duck, Boris Boris Boshinov. But anyway, we got to that time. We're running out of time, so we need to do it. Your comedy minute. Cory, go ahead. Tell them what your comedy minute is.
So I was like the funny story. The funniest one I ever had was I did a benefit show I think it was a VFW for an EMT who lost her eye, and she was trying to get like something with her vision. That part's not the funny
Good
part.
Lord. Oh, good
um,
Lord.
but it was
I'm already laughing, Cory. I'll keep an eye out for you.
she's gonna watch this and be like, that fucking asshole is laughing at my eye.
No,
She
fucker.
didn't have an eye patch. She
Fucker.
didn't look like a
One-eyed
pirate.
bitch.
Uh, but
I'll keep an
so we
eye
did
out
the
for her.
show, and nobody told me anything about this show. They just said, "Hey, we
Right?
want you to do this show." So I walk in the door. The average age is like 75 years old, and everybody knows I don't change my jokes. What I am is what I'm given. So I go up, and already I feel like a life alert salesman at this place because the ages were nuts. So I'm doing the Holocaust jokes, the 9/11 jokes, abortion jokes. I'm just going in. And overall, the response was very good. There's one lady who gets up in the middle of the show, yells, "Fuck you." And she was probably, I don't know, 78 years old, hammered off her ass. So like I just ignored it. And then I walk back to my seat, and she stands in my face with 2 middle fingers inches from my face. And then the next comedian's going, and I just hear, "Tell Cory he sucks." And she's just yelling shit, heckling me from my seat. And I
That's
think she ended up passing out. She blacked
that's a
out at her
great
table.
that is a great comedy minute, Cory. That is a great, great, great comedy minute. I just had somebody tell me a story similar. Kevin from Los Angeles was telling a story where They set him up in front of a whole batch of old folks, and oh my God, that's a great story. I can just picture her. Fuck you, fuck
Yeah,
you.
right in my face. And I'm like, all right.
I remember, and I'm going to close with this, but and not that I want to close up, and I'll cut it off or whatever. But I remember the first pedophile joke I did, which you probably know it. Every it was something along the lines of, "Boy, that's a big word for a 6-year-old."
Oh yeah.
And man, oh man, I'll never forget this lady lit into me. Man, she was pissed off. I'm unsubscribing and I'm telling a million of my friends. Well, go ahead, bitch. Go ahead. It's a fucking joke. It's like what's the good thing about pedophiles? They don't speed through a school zone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
That's a good one though.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. All right, well, look, I'm going to stop the recording. I want you to hang out for a minute, though.
Okay, perfect.
Is there anything else you want to tell the people before we go?
No, just thank you so much for having me, man. This was so much
It was
fun.
my pleasure, man. It was my pleasure. You're. I wish you nothing but the best, and let's make a pact that in 6 months or so we catch back up. We'll do another one of these. We'll see how you're doing.
Sounds good to me, man.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Cory. Hang tight. I just want to stop the recording.
Okay, will do, man.